Hey guys, welcome back to BackPocketGameReviews, and today we're going to talk about some huge news apparently, because everyone's talking about this. GameStop is closing 150 stores nationwide. So, a lot of people are taking this as some bad omen for GameStop. Not really. It's pretty common, not just with GameStop. So the way this works, because I work retail and I've worked retail for a very long time, and GameStop's retail works the same way as even when I worked at GameStop. Every retail I've ever worked for does this, including GameStop. Recently, store closures have been a pretty common thing among a lot of different retail stores. GameStop, their big issue is A, they cannot remain competitive against companies like Best Buy, Amazon, all these companies that are able to offer you a discount to get you to come in for games, and they will discount those games day of release to you. Whereas GameStop can't really do that, because their big seller is the games. That's what they're getting you in there to buy. These other stores, they want you to buy other stuff. They can make a nice profit off you buying the other stuff when you come in to pick up your game. So, I mean, you've all heard me talk about Best Buy, you've all heard me talk about Amazon, but we're going to focus a lot on why GameStop would close 150 stores. So, my former GameStop store is one that got closed. The big issue here is my store was in a dying mall. We paid about $10,000 a month just for our rent in that mall. That does not include our electric bill or anything along those lines. But that is more than what we paid for the busy mall. So there's a mall called Tuttle Mall. It is a dying mall. We paid $10,000 a month to have store space in that mall. Well, there's a mall not too far from there called Polaris Mall. We paid much less, significantly less than $10,000 to have store space inside of that busy mall. So the thing that you have to keep in mind with mall stores too is mall stores, A, you have a very long contract for how long you're leasing that spot for. So for example, with my mall, it was a 5-year contract. Well, that's 5 years of us losing money. That mall does pick up a lot of volume around the holidays, so that would all of a sudden, my store would become one of the busiest stores come holiday season. But outside of that holiday season, we were one of the slowest stores. We also had a store directly across the street outside of the mall in a small little strip mall. Their rent was also less than ours. It was not $10,000 a month. So GameStop's probably, and I'm assuming because I don't really know how their process is, what stores they're closing or anything along those lines. I do know how they used to do it when I worked there, and I'm going to assume it's following that same trend. These are non-profitable stores, so GameStop is going to close these and then open up new stores in new locations. GameStop, I do feel, does need to shrink down their amount of retail stores. I feel that's probably one of their biggest problems, is the fact that they open stores everywhere, and I think a lot of that's so they can compete with bigger companies like Walmart, whereas there is a Walmart on every street corner, and Walmart is the biggest game retailer outside of GameStop. GameStop, when I worked there, didn't really view Best Buy as a threat, even though most of the ex-employees shop at Best Buy. It's kind of a weird concept. But I don't foresee this as something that's, oh, this is the end of GameStop. No, it's pretty common for retailers to close down stores that aren't profitable. Now, I get that a lot of people want to compare this to like Sears, where Sears is closing a whole bunch of stores. Sears is a dying business. I'm not saying GameStop isn't a dying business, but Sears is going to die at a much faster rate than what GameStop is. GameStop has been smart enough to at least attempt to evolve their business to more than just games, like buying the ThinkGeek brand. So they do own ThinkGeek. I would probably say they have the worst online store setup. Like, I don't really go onto GameStop's website to buy things. I don't feel that their website is convenient, easy to use, or even well laid out. I can go into Amazon's app, and it's very well laid out. I can easily search for what I'm looking for, but if I want to go through categories with GameStop, it becomes a lot more convoluted, and there's a lot more options, and it should be pretty straightforward to search GameStop stores for what it is that you are looking for, or even just for browsing purposes. But a lot of, because like you'll go under like new releases and half of it's going to be pre-order now. But those are the new releases. So I think GameStop's issue is they're not evolving to be able to cater a lot of their sales to online. Most retailers now too, like you can go get stuff on their store online and have it pick up in store. You can do the same thing with GameStop, but your issue with GameStop is I could say I want to pick up these 2 used games, go in there, and both those 2 used games don't have the original case, and that's a deal breaker for me. So I don't really like buying stuff or reserving it on their app unless it's new or unless it's some kind of collectible. But even if I go in there, the first thing I do is I check it. So I don't think this 150 store closure, though, is some big deal for GameStop. I think this is just them trying to cut loose some of the dead weight that they're possibly carrying. These 150 stores may all have contracts that are ending in the same area. And I'll tell you this, the reason why they don't close those stores that aren't profitable is because breaking that contract majority of the time costs more than closing the store and letting it ride out and be unprofitable. It's a little ridiculous. There are some pretty steep clauses built into those contracts. It's not uncommon too for GameStop to just go, well, this area is a hard area to sell in. We're going to close this store and open one over here because we think this area is going to do much better in sales. I think it would be smart of them, though, to just close 150 stores and cut off that dead weight, and then you're not having to support that store ecosystem. But that would also require their online to get much better. I'm sure all of you have heard the horror stories about buying stuff on GameStop online, them having no idea about the transaction, them charging you multiple times, being impossible to essentially get a refund. GameStop's online is a jumbled mess, whereas most of these companies have a really good system planned out, and that's kind of a way of future-proofing. And I don't want to say you're ever going to see full retail stores go away, because I don't think you have a lot of people like me who want to have it tangibly in their hand. We want to be able to feel the product, we want to be able to touch it, and I want to leave with it right when I want to buy it. I think their big issue is that they haven't really kind of moved the direction to where their website is a plausible way to recoup a lot of the sales they might have lost otherwise. I mean, with Best Buy, I don't need to live near a Best Buy. I know that the way my product's going to come, I know what condition it's going to be in. With GameStop and them selling used products, you really don't have any idea what the condition's going to be or what shape it's going to come in. GameStop's also had a lot of issues with buying counterfeit games. There are a lot of counterfeit, like Pokemon games, and a lot of the older style cartridge games. There were a lot of issues with counterfeiting on. So, I mean, I know GameStop sales have been down year over year. Their profits haven't been up in a while. Every year a new console launches, they really put a lot of eggs in that basket, and that's great because they are really pushing the Switch launch, but they're pretty much forcing people to buy bundles at this point, and a lot of people don't want those bundles. Some people might just want to pick up Breath of the Wild, or I feel they need to change their business model, not just close stores. I guess cutting off that dead weight, though, should help them out to some degree. But by no means should anyone look at this and go, oh, this spells disaster for GameStop. They used to close more stores than that back when I worked there. And this is like back when the 360 and the PS3 were booming. GameStop stocks have always looked like a roller coaster. They probably always will, because they're one of the few tech companies that can't change to compete against a lot of the others. They'll always probably remain like relevant against like a Walmart, but when you compare them to Best Buy or Amazon, they can't offer you those same discounts, and that is a big part of where they're losing those profits. So, I don't know. Back when I worked there too, as I said, they thought Best Buy was a non-threat. They used to kind of make fun of it, that Best Buy was trying to start their whole gaming division. Because they were stealing a lot of people away from GameStop at the time, and most of it was just because they paid better. Not really hard to beat GameStop's pay, though. So guys, if you are interested in getting a LameStop shirt, I sell them on my Teespring store. It is linked in the description box if that is something you're interested in, because I know a lot of you expressed interest in it after I wore this shirt in a video. Also, I'm going to have a lot more content coming for you soon. Epic Conspiracy Guy saw my video, so that's something that'll be... I don't even know how relevant he really is to this, but whatever. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I like those thumbs ups. You can even start a little fight club with my like button. Beat the hell out of it. But guys, I'll have more content coming for you soon. We'll see you around.